Wow, good evening, viewers of Amaqhawe TV. You have seen the start of this show today. We started with music and unusual. It's our first with hosting you like this. And you hear it for yourself. It's jazz. You hear it for yourself. It's very authentic because the actual people that are playing it are here with us today. This month in South Africa is dedicated as a heritage month. One of those cultural heritage aspects is jazz. We've seen abo tata abadlali jazz apha ekuhlaleni phakathi kwethu, New Brighton, Woma, Zwide. That was culture, that is our heritage, part of us. And you've seen abroad, South African jazz players are famously known. Abotatu Huma Sekela, abanye baphuma peqeberha. When you kumbombela was written by someone from here. Namhlanje ke uyongamela manene on behalf of Amaqhawe Ethu is having Mpumelelo Peter Tosh Mqhayi, an activist, cultural activist, umntu ombaxa okwesi sixeko seNelson Mandela. He's here with us. He's going to be talking to us about the role of culture, the role of music, the role of cultural activities in liberation heritage in his capacity as a music lover, and he's going to share a lot about himself. I wish that you can welcome him to your homes and listen to what he's going to share with us. Mpumelelo, Peter Tosh Mqhayi, welcome and thanks for gracing us as Amaqhawe Ethu in our program to come and share about music, to come and share about jazz in particular, to come and share about you as a person. Please do us the honor to tell us about ngubani uMpumelelo Peter Tosh. Why Peter Tosh Mqhayi? And tell Aba Phulaphuli ungubani.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ngama, and thank you to the viewers of this show. Let's start where. Okay, Mpumelelo Peter Mqhayi, but also known as Peter Tosh, and Apepai, living here in Blue Water Bay, and I was born and bred in this PE. I was born and bred in Woma Township, actually, as it goes. So I grew up here in Woma, and then because of my family businesses, because I lived with my grandmother, so we decided to go to Grahamstown to open a sort of indlu yabahambi ngesiXhosa. Kwakuthiwa kuseNtlangwini back in the day. So we went to Grahamstown, so I studied in Grahamstown, and from Fikizolo Primary School to Chimbolekwa Higher Primary School, where our school was the first one actually in Grahamstown, as a higher primary school, yeah. Oh. And our principal was Mr. Ethu, who actually enforced that. He wants only 4 pillars for his school because it's a new school. And then he singled out certain people, and unfortunately I was among those people who were singled out. And then he said, I'm going to be one of them to actually obtain first class. So first class is another level of education back in the day, and it was not easy. So I had no choice, and obviously I got my first class 73, yeah. It was 1973, yes, that's right, in Grahamstown. And then after that, we returned back to Port Elizabeth because of my grandmother's illnesses and everything. So we stayed in PE. So I had to start doing the high school at KwaZakela High School, which was 1975. Previously, before I forget, I studied at Nyaluza for my standard 7 back in the day. So now starting in Port Elizabeth at KwaZakela High School, I was one of the students that were involved. It was a High School. Moving forward now to 1976, when I was doing my standard 9 at class 9A. As you know, 9A is one of those classes whereby all the A's actually back in those days were students that were very, very intellectual and very clever. I'm not saying I was one of them, but surely in this position, and I can say that I was clever. I did do my best. So the time now was
1976.
1976. KwaZakhela High School. We used to call it sex. Kabanye ke bethu. Kanye sithi ke utsotsi ke baziyo. Kuthiwa kuse school. We used to call it a school. Ungayaziyo school ke you'll be lost. So 1976, to cut matters short because of the time and everything, it was that historical year for students all over South Africa as things started in Johannesburg. The students' uprisings in Johannesburg started and yasichaphazela eBhayi. And fortunately, we embraced it. Because what was happening is with the education system, that was enforced that we should be studying in Afrikaans as a medium for different subjects. So students, we were not happy about that. And then the situation escalated to a level of students mobilizing, to a level of having meetings and different organizations joined in. And KwaZakhela High School at 9A, standard 9A, I was in one of that classroom. So there were those long elongated boards that were split into 4. So I think there were 4 of us who were writing on the boards at the time.
Wow, we left each other.
Thank you.
Uteta, 9A. 9A, that class was meant for clever. That class that was meant for those disciplined, neat, and clever students. What happened now, growing to 9A?
Oh, thanks for yours again. 9A was class of 76, and we were very, teachers were quite pleased with us. I mean, we had some good teachers, but the likes of Mr. Swisser was one of our teachers from Mr. Dan Swisser from Grahamstown, where the likes of Omem Gundwana, Zenzile,
Bratos.
I was going to come to Bratos. That's a doctor now, It's Dr. Bratos. Bratos was my teacher, It's just a funny man, It was great. Bratos, before he even gets to the classroom, he was shouting my name like, Bumelelo! And, I don't know what got into him to do that. But somehow he liked me, and I did his subjects very well, and we're great friends. And I did actually see him in London as well. We invited him to our home. So Standard 9, we actually wrote on the board, as I was saying before, inciting the students, obviously listening to what was going on in Johannesburg, in Soweto, what the students were actually doing. And, it was hectic, and the whole country was on fire because the students were, rebelling against the Afrikaans tuition as a mode of, as a medium for subjects. So a lot of people were hurt on the way, and some of them were arrested, and some of them were, goodness me, died in this uprisal. And KwaZakhela High School, students came in to see what was written on the boards, and they were reading. And when they came out of there, you could see that everyone was more like, it was like lighting the keg, because students there as well were very active, KwaZakhela High School. And people started talking about this, what is happening in Johannesburg, in Soweto, with other students. And then we ended up joining together, and then we had a meeting, and then the slogans shot up, and it was just power, black power, power salute. And we had our leaders, obviously. I don't want to name too many names because it's still a sensitive matter. So certain people died in this Glomzabalazo, Saswenza. And the other people that were involved, you all know who they were because everyone is known and people who participated kulo mzabalazo wethu ka-1976 students.
Sure.
So, I mean, from there, apart from what has been happening at Kwazakela High School, because we had raids from the police and the army and Alsatian dogs and everything, the tear gas, I mean, that thing is atrocious. I mean, that thing is terrible. It was my first time I actually was sprayed by tear gas. And unfortunately, our school was like at a hill. So they would shoot it behind the school. Okay. And as you know, P is a windy city. And they were smart, those policemen. They would shoot it right behind the school, and that thing would just diffuse. Where we were at the school playground. So we used to congregate there and then hold our meetings and everything. So it came straight to us, you know, blown by the wind because the wind was coming from the top of the school. And it was not a very nice experience until some people wised up about it, that there's a way of beating the tear gas, you know. Water, 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 piece of cloth, and Bob's your uncle. Trust me, you just put the water on your eyes, and then you
everything
clear it off, and then the sting of the tear gas doesn't get that much. But it's not a very nice, pleasant experience.
That water would leave you itchy as well. Viewers, he's bringing up those memories about that. But today is about liberation heritage, arts contribution.
Yes.
And how did you become a muso?
Back in the day, I mean, we grew up in jazz. I mean, my uncle used to play jazz. I'm talking Blue Note Verve jazz. People like Stanley Tarantines, the Crusaders. I'm talking the actual bebop. And, you know, it was just jazz. I mean, I could talk until tomorrow about it because it's another subject. Because jazz is so quite diverse. I mean, there's Latin jazz, there's bebop, there's blues, there's jazz fusion, there's jazz funk, you know.
Yeah.
African jazz, for that matter, is there, you know. So we grew up listening to jazz as young kids, and obviously these guys were our heroes. And to such an extent that it was one of those things that we used to discuss about certain artists. I mean, for that matter, we used to have our little get-togethers, you know, and listen to jazz. And then we would test each other and say, okay, who's playing the saxophone there? And trust me, maybe it would be Stanley Tarantine, you know, or Sonny Stitt, it could be Dexter Gordon, it could be anyone. So if you know your jazz, you would say that's Stanley Tarantine. You know, I mean, Stanley had that sound, distinctive sound of his horn. It was just, you can tell from a mile that was Stanley Tarantine. Dexter Gordon, Ben Webster, look, that, like I said, it could be another.
This was more audio than visual.
It was more audio because it was the LPs, right? It was that, the stylus and the LP and the PM9s and those hi-fis back in the day we used to listen to. So that was jazz. So fortunately, we grew up listening to jazz, and then I liked jazz myself. So I used to have a guitar, actually. I made a guitar of a petrol can with a piece of wood for the neck. And then you would put a metal on fire actually, until it's red hot, and then you drill 4 holes where you can put your stela, what you call the setting for the strings. And then you would have the fish line. We use the fish line, join it together from the top to the bottom, and then you make a hole. I wish I could show what it is, you know, but I'm sure people of our era would know what a guitar made out of petrol can looks like.
Thank you. Viewers, you heard yourself. He's not only a muso. You heard about the activist who wrote on the board. You heard about the love of jazz, distinctive. You had the whole list of those jazz players. Also, he started making his own tin of petrol for jazz. He left us telling about you banning and all those kind of things. Was this not so dangerous, playing with fire?
Look, I mean, we were adventurous as youths.
Yes.
Well, there was no money for buying a guitar, and obviously, if you don't have money to buy a guitar, you make your own.
Yes.
And then it became a trend among certain young men, and then some of them used the paint tins, pick up sticks and use them as drums.
Wow.
And use old enamel plates as a symbol. So, I mean, the band is forming now, you know what I mean? And then you get these guys who will just sing and emulate a saxophone. Ba-ba-dee-ba-da-ba, you know, get those guys who are going to be doing that part. And then obviously we're going to have a singer. So that is like a nice quartet, sorted out, you know? And then obviously then you
using what you had.
That's what we had. You extend it, then you get a bassist, and then bassist is going to do that.
Wow.
You know, it was exciting, I mean, back in the day after school, because those were just the things that we used to do growing up. Yes.
And PM9, what is that?
Ubali?
PM9.
PM9 was a battery. PM9 was a long battery that was used to power the old hi-fi systems. Right. You see, those batteries, the thing is, when those batteries go down, you see now you guys got chargers. You just plug and charge. Now, those batteries, you put it under the sun.
On top of the roof.
We could put it anywhere as long as it's facing the sun. That's a recharging process. And trust me, after that, probably late in the afternoon, you plug it back in your hi-fi, boom, sound comes up loud. And you've got a rejuvenated battery.
So the solar system was done way before people were
renewable energy, we knew about it. We knew about renewable energy, but then again, we didn't implement it as it is now. They're using solar panels and everything. But there are different types of renewable energy, so that's another subject for another day.
And interesting enough, just on a lighter note, viewers, these batteries used to be stolen from uncle and the fathers, and later on they want to listen to the news or the stories. Amabali.
Yes.
And then you are in trouble.
And believe you me, because there used to be Amabali. There used to be this. Hey, this story used to call Ulanga. Hey, this thing was so haunting. You know, but it's for our era. I don't think you know that one.
Yes. Now, did you grow in music? What happened thereafter? Peter Tosh and Wazakhele, from Wazakhele, where?
Okay, then. The Wazakhele situation is very sensitive. And I'm planning to do something about 1976 reunion.
Is it?
Yes, sir. I am, because I was one of the students.
Yes.
So I have to go into different channels for funding and everything. So that needs to be done.
Yes,
we have to. So then you would get the full gist of what was happening in 1976, because I've got that project sorted out already.
1976 was not only about Soweto, Johannesburg. 1976 was about the whole country,
yes,
including Port Elizabeth.
Including, yes, Grahamstown was active, Cape Town, there's all sorts. So I'm going to package this thing nicely, and
thank you.
Obviously when the time is right, then we'll publish it.
We're wishing you all the best.
Through Amaqhawe, obviously it will be,
thank you.
Shown here, yes.
Thank you. What happened thereafter? Because in your short stories, I mean, in your story about you, there is London involved and jazz and all those kind of things. Do you want to share with us?
Okay, right. Okay, I did my matric 1978. It was hectic, but it was not very easy to study. But I had to finish my education, come rain or shine, because I wanted to move to university.
Yes.
Because I loved education. So I worked for a while after 78, and then it was not very pleasant, because a lot of people were getting arrested, and then it was not very safe to be around. So hence a lot of students skipped. We used to call it skipped. You skip. You don't escape, you skip. So a lot of people went through Lesotho, went to Swaziland, went to all over Africa, any place that could accommodate. But Nigeria happened to be one of those that accommodated a lot of South Africans, and Zambia. So I didn't go that channel. I went to London through the Amaqhawe, you know, Ian Segoni. I respect that man because he helped me a lot getting papers to get overseas. So I left South Africa because of the situation that's very, it was very dangerous. And obviously, other people, unfortunately, had to endure it and suffer. So I'm not saying that I was the lucky one. I had to make means to get out because I knew that the red light has come up for some of us. So I went to London '82. I went to study in England. And even when I arrived at the airport, it's funny, you know, the English people, because they didn't recognize what Siscayan passport was. They asked me where that country was. And I think I was one of those few who had the privilege of getting that passport. And I got that through solicitors, you know. So they wanted to know which country that was. I said, no, that's in South Africa. What do you mean you don't know where Siscayan is? So I had to explain to them what Siscayan was all about. And they held me there for 5 hours. So luckily, the word was on that there's a South African that is coming through, you know, and on the political side, who was involved in 1976. So eventually, they tried to trick me into saying that I was going to ask me questions like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to study, you're going to do what, and blah, blah, blah. And then after that, what are you going to do when you finish your studies? They were expecting you to say, I'm going to work. And next thing, you'll be next on the flight.
Ibali lakho lininzi deep. We need actually, I think, more than one interview. But sinale namhlanje. This is September Heritage Month. As an artist, a jazz lover, please go on with your story.
Thanks again, viewers. Yes. So I was talking about being held up at the airport by the immigration officers. I mean, they drill you like nobody's business because what they didn't want people to come into the country. So they had this strict sort of
control.
I mean, it was not fair because, I mean, look, they colonized us. Do you know what I mean? And why did they ask to come in here and show us the papers and ask what are they going to do after? They stayed here for ages. They even came here before the Boers. You understand? But to cut the story short, when I came out of the immigration, I had a welcoming party that I didn't know of. The anti-apartheid people were there. Yes, it was I was shocked actually. They were out there waiting for me, and you know, all those big names who were very active during those days in London for the anti-apartheid movement. So there was a nice reception, and then I stayed now in London, and then studied, and I did electrical and electronic engineering, and I did other courses. And to an extent that during that time, we used to have bouts at the embassy, at the High Commission, South African High Commission, whereby, you know, we used to go out there and make some protests. And look, we made as much noise as we could. Because at the time, most of the countries around the world were buying South African goods. So we went against that, and luckily the people of the anti-apartheid movement, I mean, which consisted of different groups of people from nationalities, of course. So until that situation was heard, and obviously negotiations took place in Zambia with our leaders, Mandela's. So I cannot divulge what happened there because I wasn't there. But obviously, South African goods were boycotted around the world, which resulted into a loosening of power, and to that level of Mandela being released from prison, and then it went on from there. But as for my story, is we were active as South Africans, obviously, in London. I mean, the pictures that we'll probably see on the during this conversation. We were there to support. We were there to show our spirit. That's what we used to say, the spirit for Nelson Mandela, as he had this bust at Parliament Square in London. And yes, and we were. You probably see me draped in an ANC, South African flag, ANC flag. It was just crazy. We had to go to this park where the park was just outside Oliver Tambo's house. So that's where his kids grew up, running around. So actually, they actually put a bust there for Oliver Tambo in that park, and it was named after him. So now, as you know, there's a lot of vandalism in London. So we had to go there and show a bit of muscle, that look here, do not mess around with this bust here, and do not vandalize this bust, So there were a lot of activities taking place, and I even joined the interim ANC interim branch, which was still led by Ukolani Kala.
Okay.
That young man there is from PE as well, very active young man. So. And the embassy as well, we used to go to the embassy. I used to be involved with the ambassadors as well, sometimes when they go and have a talk for delivering speech, And you also see those pictures as well with ambassadors of different eras when I was there. And, cool, there's just a lot, there's a lot.
And there's a lot, as I said earlier, and we need more time for that. And today, we left each other on the guitar you made.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
This guitar has been played not only by you to raise this voice of South African plight. Can you share with us your knowledge on that front as well? How this concerts, music gatherings, and the message, what impact has those made in the few minutes we are having?
Okay. Thank you, Ken. The music played quite an important role in the liberation struggle, and with the Brits, the likes of Bono, and there was just so many and South African musicians that got together and played at Wembley. Those concerts for Free Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
There were even songs called Free Nelson Mandela. And it was quite, it's inegalelo into the struggle and into the liberation and into freeing people like Nelson Mandela. Because after the anti-apartheid movement and obviously us boycotted and inspired people to boycott the South African goods. This thing now, South Africa was becoming a central sort of part of, and he was an attention to a lot of people, even foreigners. They wanted to know who this Mandela, hey, what's going on? And who are these people, who are these South Africans? And we're always wearing our colors in England, just to distinguish that. So people know that who we were. And the music and the South African exiles, they played an integral part in this as well, because they played South African music.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you'll probably see, there should be pictures with all these South African artists. Not all of them, but there were just so many of South Africans who were in exile, who actually played music for emphasizing the situation in South Africa.
Yes.
Jazz band. As you can see, we will be live at One Room. We're bringing you jazz from the township, talking traditional jazz here, and featuring on this band is Asanda Mkriki. This is the jazz you want to hear on a Sunday.
Thanks for staying on this program, Amaqhawe Ethu. Today we're talking about art. What role has it played in Mzabalazweni, in liberation of our people? And as we all know, this is September month, a heritage month. Music is part of our heritage. I'm here having Uput Mpumelelo Peter Nqayi as my guest. He was sharing about what the role music has played. Currently, he's running a project in the interest of not fighting, but now building a nation. Welcome back. Thanks for listening and staying on. Nababa Pulapul, Nababukeli. Here are people of Qabecha. Make them aware what can music do, because they know what it has done. It liberated us. It's part of those ammunition that was used to liberate us. But let's build these communities of ours. Let us build the concerts, ipotsoi, nemingqongqo eyayidla ngoba khona. Khawutyebise ke Ntakanqayi.
Thank you. Okay, first of all, this Peter Tosh thing, it's a London thing. They used to call me Peter. Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh. You know, that's how it went.
All right.
And it just spiraled out of control, and I had no control of it. Okay. So that's why I'm called Peter Tosh. Not the reggae one, but the jazz Peter Tosh. This one, yeah. So now we've started doing concerts around. We've done at the Mendy Arts Center with the youth. We've done at the various places here around. And we're still going to do more. But what I want to encourage these young people that think they've got talent, or maybe if they think they would like to learn a different type of an instrument, after we have been this thing stable and sorted out financially and everything, because at this moment in time, all this funding and I've been using my resources.
Wow.
No, it's true. I was using my resources, the funding. I haven't had any sponsorship to actually sponsor me, like, okay, look here, do this concert. We're going to back you financially. I did ask, even from different political parties, but alas, it just didn't happen. I mean, previous mayors would tell you, because I've been trying to knock on their doors. But I know that there are a lot of philanthropists in South Africa. There are a lot, both white and black. I am not saying it must be a white-based or black-based, but please fund us. This project is going to be helpful for young people, and it's disciplining the youth as well, because they're not just learning about music. They're going to be learning a lot about their future, how they can do things, how it will benefit the community. And how we can unite the community, because we music is so powerful. We can unite the community through playing music.
It's a universal language.
It's a universal language, you know. So we're planning few concerts. Hopefully we can be able to be funded to buy a good sound system and whatever it takes to get this going, even to getting our own established properties. You know, our property where we can do this recording studios and everything.
Yes.
So we can help the youth, you know.
So these are the requirements in order to be able to start bringing back those development programs at the operational level on the ground. Apha abantu bahlala khona, abantu bawuva umculo bawonwabele, bewuva uphuma kubantwana babo bengakhange babe bawubukele mabona kude okanye njalo njalo. Ntakanqayi, siyabulela. Your parting words to the viewers in line with umculo, indima yawo. Thank
you, sir. Well, as a parting shot, I would say music, like they say, if music be the food of love, play on, you know. So I am trying my best with all other people just to get together here, especially Port Elizabeth is known for a vibrant jazz city. It's very known from back in the day. We had soul jazzmen, we had black slaves, we had the tulips. We had all sorts. Nasewoma, there were groups, you know. So we should kindle that light, you know. We should not let this thing die. I mean, the old musicians, the old legends, these people are just dying without being acknowledged properly. And we should do concerts for these people. I've been drumming this, even when I was playing at Mandy with my other band, that look here, we need to actually do concerts for these legends, to thank them for the entertainment they gave us. We grew up listening to afternoon spans, St. Stephen's, Centenary Hall. You know, those things are gone now. And that's why a lot of people just go and drink to oblivion, and these kids got nothing else to do. But if kids see that there are other kids that are playing live, say in the afternoon span, you know, they would go there, not just loitering the streets and maybe get involved in different substances. And I hope that the arts and culture, I mean, we've got Zizi now. Zizi, I'm sure you're listening, that please connect with me. And Mr. Mabuyan as well, please, let's put the Eastern Cape on the map to how it was. We love music, people love music. This is going to keep people entertained and, you know, kept to their standards. And not people just decide, okay, let me go and drink in a shebeen, and kids know that, oh, my dad is drunk, and you know what, that's what I'm going to do as well, Saturday afternoons. Whereas if we had these lovely places, these afternoon spans, keep people occupied and entertain them with music, and especially coming from the youth of today.
Yeah, nizvele ke babukeli, if music be the food of love, play on. Today we had Mr. Mpumelelo Nqayi as our guest. He has shared his experiences in this music heritage that we have. He has made a call to the powers that be, to the people, to start encouraging, motivating our youth to start getting afternoon spans and many other activities in order to grow the music. My name is Yongamela Manene. On behalf of Amaqhawe Ethu, Mpuma Kapa TV, we would like to thank you for watching and keeping us alive in these waves. And it's Heritage Month. Celebrate our heritage. See you again on Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m.